She knows a few things about entertaining. Catherine, get on up here.
Hello, you guys. I figured out how to not be nervous before coming up here, and it's drink 2 glasses of wine really quickly. I feel great. So just to set the scene for what you're about to experience, I was supposed to be doing this with my coworker Rebecca. She's unfortunately sick today. We should all send her our best wishes. So there's actually 50% of the women who are supposed to be on this stage right now, which felt kind of fitting. So this is going exactly to plan. So I can't do what our original pitch was, which was did involve acting out the Peach scene from Call Me by Your Name, and that's not a joke. That's what it involved. I'm going to talk about another part of my life that gender has kind of shaped, and it's that I had a stay-at-home dad. I didn't know that was not like normal until maybe my junior year of high school, when my teacher said kind of offhand, some people have stay-at-home dads, and everyone in the class was like, and I was like, and I mean, my mom, it's just always what I knew. And my mom worked the same job her whole life. She actually went into retirement last year, which is something no one in this room is ever going to experience. But it's just how it was. I mean, my dad did work for a little bit during my early years, but when I was about 7, they both kind of decided, dad will stay home with me and my sister, and my mom will continue working. And this was the 90s, so they were woke as hell. Yeah, so my dad would pick me up from play practice. He would take me to the dentist. He would call the teachers whenever I felt they were treating me unfairly, which was often. And yeah, I mean, and then it's why I get kind of so annoyed when there are those like one-season shows that get canceled, that the whole premise of them is like, man tried to raise baby. And because it's just, well, for one, it perpetuates this stereotype that women are born just inherently knowing how to raise a child, how to raise a human life, which is, I'm still raising my own human life. I don't think any of us have any idea how to do that. So it's kind of the great equalizer. But then there's the other issue of that even if they do make the decision, like my mom, to go back to work, they're plagued with this imagery of just that their male partner is home with the baby, like possibly carrying it around by its leg, like a dirty dish towel, which my dad only did to me once. So it's not fair to paint that. No, there was none of that stuff. There was like, my dad never had to do the thing you see sitcoms dad do, which is like, tell their daughter how to use a tampon applicator. I did not ask my dad about that. When I got my period for the first time, it was during a matinee performance of Music Man Jr. And so it happened. I felt it happen, kind of going like this, and I was like, oh. And then I got off stage. I carried on with the rest of the day. I went home. I got on AIM, AOL Instant Messenger. And my mom worked in IT, so she also had an account. And so I found her in the list, and I was like, Mother, hello. I did get my period today. And she immediately called me, because why are we doing those on AM? And she talked me through the basics, and it was fine. My dad never knew. Some other things, my dad didn't he didn't have to do the thing where he had to be like chummy with the PTA ladies, because he went to culinary school and he can cook a muffin better than literally any of those Mary Berry wannabes. He never was like, Catherine, you should do sports. He once thought it would be a good idea for if I were to make and then sell handbags that were crafted out of upcycled cushions. And he also would watch Glee without me. So he's fine. But, on the flip side, my mom, like if she were to be portrayed in a movie, she would be the hardworking, no nonsense, like buzzkill. And that's not true. On my 23rd birthday party, she got more drunk than anyone there. And I had to put her to bed because she was like getting in the background of my friends' pictures and putting bunny ears behind their heads. She also, now that she's retired, went back to school. My dad did as well, but she's taking a class on sex work and literature. So she's having a blast. But I think one of the best things about having a working mom was that there was just growing up, I never thought my gender was a barrier for anything. It wasn't weird to me that women would be involved in whatever they wanted to be in. For instance, I was the only girl on my soccer team. And I would liken that experience to Air Bud in the movie Air Bud. he was on the basketball team, and probably for the first few minutes it was like a little weird, but then you realize that you get all of the attention when you are the only one. A more recent experience was I was the only woman in my like comedy writing class, and like the male comedy community is pretty notoriously so welcoming and happy to have a woman who's funnier than them, but actually was really fine because it was so tense about the fact that like everyone knew like one woman, bunch of guys, and they were like embarrassed for the industry that this was an advanced class and that there was only one woman in it. So they had to agree with everything I said. I could be like, I am the funniest person here, and they would have to go, mm-hmm, or else they would be sexist. Yeah, but I mean, I think one of the biggest things that I'm happy, I mean, I really do wish I could have acted out a famous gay masturbation scene up here in front of you all. But I am happy that I got to be sort of an example of when 50-50 works out. If it wasn't for my working mom, I wouldn't be standing here. I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for my stay-at-home dad. I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for my stay-at-home coworker, Rebecca. Who is great, and so sorry she couldn't be here, but I also wouldn't be standing here. Just a quick shout out to the women in my group text who, this morning, I was like, I need to come up with a new thing right now. They all dropped what they were doing and got on Google Docs and gave me thoughtful and constructive feedback to make whatever I just presented you somewhat coherent. So women are great, and so are my dad. Bye!